So I've been doing several videos of these off sports when I have a little bit of time, just again to kind of show you the way I think about building my lineups and with the information I have kind of at my disposal. Again, I haven't seen the Chan video yet for the tomorrow's slate, so I'm probably going to obviously make some changes based on what he says, his qualitative analysis of the matchup, but just to kind of focus in on the numbers and to see what types of lineups look like you'd want to play. And then, I want to kind of take you through the sheets, take you through the stacks, and then we're going to run a couple of builds with sabersim and see how, see if they reflect what you would think should happen. Again, this is you guys want to know what I do. This is kind of what I do. This is what interests me. So I already uploaded the projections for the slate, and I want to look at it from two different views. First is the projection view, the straight projection view, and I'm sorting everything by sheets value score, and not surprisingly, the highest owned. I'm looking at captain. The two highest owned captains are the two highest value scores, and that makes sense, and it's by a somewhat decent amount, Xiaoshu and Gala. So with that said, I mean, you would think that the RNG stack would be extremely strong play, right? They do have a significant edge in value score over everybody else. And, it looks as though the ownership is pretty reflective of that. I don't think they're over-owned. I don't think they're under-owned. I think they're just kind of fairly owned. That's the first thing I kind of look at here, is just kind of visualize this. And then I see that the first kind of non-RNG guy to pop in here would be Elk. And then after that, you have Deft, and then you have Jockdam. And that makes sense because all three of those guys are ADCs, right? So they're usually going to project to be kind of the better plays anyway. Okay. So what I'm looking for is before we get into leverage and stuff, is it possible to put two of these ADCs together, right? And make the rest of your lineup work without, what I mean? You play double ADC in the captain. It's usually hard to do, but sometimes you can get away with it. And then the next thing I noticed is the first non-ADC, non-RNG, right, is from UP, and that's Cryan. And I actually have him as a significant advantage over the next best non-RNG mid, that being Zika from DRX. So if possible, like I said, if you can get both the up, I don't know what UP or UP and RNG in the same lineups, that's going to be the build that project, that gets you the highest probably projected lineups, right? You would think that's the case. Next thing I'd like to look at is see if there's a support that's particularly strong, and I don't really see that. Ming is obviously the top support by a decent amount. And one thing I have learned is that don't underestimate how important these supports are, because when they put up a good score, you really can't win unless you have it. I mean, you get a support that puts, say, 40 points up in a game, that's really difficult to overcome. So if you have a support that does project significantly higher than the next best support, that's really big. So, all this is a lot of different ways of saying that RNG is a good play. And you didn't need me to tell you that, but this is the way I kind of do this kind of checklist. Next thing I'd like to look at is the same type of information, but from a stack perspective. So this is based on LOL. This is my stack matrix here. And what I like to do is I like to rate these guys by modified stack, which kind of combines both upside and value and things like that. And not surprisingly, you do see RNG as the top stack. And then you see a drop off, but within these next four, you have it's pretty close between DRX, UP, DK, and Thunder Talk. Okay, like close enough to where you don't be afraid of playing different guys or whoever might be the lower owned guys. The next thing I'll do is I will take a look at kind of ownership and see at least what kind of leverage you could possibly get. So if I'm looking at, well, first of all, let's see all these turkeys are playing, by the way. Wait, that's soccer. Sorry about that. Where is the right? So UP is playing Thunder Talk. Okay, UP is playing Thunder Talk and DRX playing. Okay. So one thing that you'll notice is that Gen G, they are playing, oh, that's soccer. I don't know why my browser still keeps acting up like this. But Gen G is playing Don Kia. And we have UP playing Thunder Talk. Now, this to me is going to be the interesting one because UP is significantly higher owned. I would say decently higher owned than Thunder Talk, and they're playing each other. So I don't even see that big of a gap between these two. So the first kind of bite at leverage for me would be to take a shot at Thunder Talk over Ultra Prime. Thunder Talk over Ultra Prime. That would be the first attempt at this, to get some kind of something other than, say, RNG Thunder Talk. Now, with respect to DRX plays Namshin. The problem is that Namshin really rates to be really, really low. So that's not a really good leverage spot. I think that, again, the first underdog that I would take a shot at would be, and not only the first one, I think it's a good underdog to take a shot at, would be Thunder Talk, because Ultra Prime is basically the second highest owned. So that is my overall kind of look at what I expect, and what I'd like to get. Like, I'd love to get like RNG with Thunder Talk, and Thunder Talk, based on what I know and based on I think what DFSChan is going to talk about is these guys tend to have quite a bit of upside. Like Ultra Prime really seems to play some bloody games. So I think that you get even a good 2-to-1 matchup with the Ultra Prime and Thunder Talk. I think that game can deliver. I think that more people are going to go with the Ultra Prime. So if you could go with RNG with Thunder Talk, I think that's probably a decent thing that you can do. Or, like I said, if you really want to get fancy, like if you don't want to go RNG, then I still think Thunder Talk is probably the leverage play. You maybe go something like DRX with Thunder Talk or Don Kia with Thunder Talk. I do think Thunder Talk, at least thematically, seems to be the leverage type of play that you want to look for. So with that said, let's run some builds. Let's see what we come up with here, and we'll run a couple of different types. So let's upload the projections to sabersim. Let's see what kind of builds we come up with. Let's build 30 lineups. So this is all good. We'll remove players not listed. Let's build 30 lineups and see what it looks like. Now let's look at the sliders here. This is really important. You have to get a lot of sim variance in League of Legends. So let's crank this up a little bit. Get a little bit of ownership fade. Correlation is not a big deal. That'll kind of take care of itself. Min unique 1, and let's just start it. And let's see what it comes up with. And the first thing I like to see is, does it give as the default 30 all 4 threes? or does the simulator come up with more 4-2s? Because if it does, then it becomes a pretty interesting type slate. Okay, so this is actually really good right off the bat. I already see. Ooh, this is interesting. So I see RNG Thunder Talk as the top one. But let's take a look. First, we're going to rank these by saber score, and then we're going to rank it by projection, see the difference. So first, let's look at stack types. So stack types, we're actually getting 5 lineups, which are 4-2. And what that means to me, this is based on my experience looking through this, is that there's no clear 4-3. In other words, there's just no like uber clear way to play with the 4-3s, which is very interesting. That doesn't necessarily mean we're going to play 4-2s because it depends on what type of 4-2. One thing I've noticed about sabersim, it sometimes does kind of funny builds with like weird one-offs. But let's take a look and see how the breakdown works here. So according to their breakdowns, based on what I put in, given sabersims or whatever, it's got about 75% of the lineups with RNG, about 50% with Thunder Talk, and then 25% Ultra Prime. So this is actually represents kind of what I was probably wanting to do anyway, which is a good sign. Okay, but just to see, let me see what kind of first of all, let me make sure that the right guys would be in the captain, because I don't like to play supports in the captain. So let's take this one out, for example. And now let's take a look, see if anything's changed. So now stack types still getting like 7 4-2s, which we're going to have to do a deep dive and kind of analyze a little bit. Well, let's take a look at team stacks again. About 75% RNG, 45% Thunder Talk, then DRX, then Ultra Prime, Namshin, and then Kia, and Gen G with 0, LG with 0. Let's see how it breaks it down though. So of the 4 stacks, you have 50% of them RNG, 25% of them DRX. It's interesting. 10% down on Kia, and only 3% Thunder Talk. So it doesn't really believe that Thunder Talk is not really showing up in a lot of 4 stacks, which makes sense. So now the next thing I'll do is I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive into these 4-2s that were created. Let's look at stack types. Let's look at 4-2s. Okay, so here are all the 4-2s. And I want to see what these look like. See, this is like a legit 4-2 because this one has RNG with 2 Thunder Talks and a Don Kia in the captain. I mean, in the team spot by himself. That's a good one. I like to have the ones with the team spot as the 2. Now this one is a 2 RNGs up at the top, 4 DRXs, and 1 Thunder Talk. That's rough because for typically when a team as a one-off gets there, it's because the team won games, but weren't quite as bloody as some of the other games. I don't think that Thunder Talk is going to win that way. I think Thunder Talk is going to be one that wins with a lot of blood on the streets. Okay, usually the one with the team spot, but as a one-off, is kind of a team that's a big favorite that might not have that type of kill upside. This one, RNG 4-2, and then DK Diamond Key as a one-off. That seems to work because Gen G I think plays pretty slow. And then you have this one, which is, what is this? This is a weird one. This is RNG. Just Xiaoshu as the captain, and then everything else that's the one-off. So I probably wouldn't play this one. And then this 4-2, the one-off would be DRX in the ADC spot. So I don't think I would do that. I really only would want to play the maybe I should though. I can't play the one with the single piece in the captain, but I could try to play that one with the single piece in say the ADC spot. Maybe it's definitely going to be low owned. Definitely won't be duped. Maybe something like this with like a yeah, I don't know about this one with Gen G Doran one off. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. So now let's take a look at these kind of a different view. Let's get rid of all this. Let's reset exposures. So all exposures, name stacks, stack types. Okay. So now what I want to do is now I want to look at these by projected score instead of saber score and see what the difference is. So the first thing you'll notice is that there's even fewer 4-3s. Okay. I mean, if you just rank these by projection and you take out the saber score aspect, like with the upside, the correlation, whatever, then it's even less 4-3s. And let's take a look and see what that's like. So if we did that, let's take a look at what the highest ranked one. So the highest ranked one would again be that 4-2, which would be the 4 RNGs, the 2 Thunder Talks, and the 1 Dan One Kia, which to me is an interesting lineup idea. I actually wouldn't mind that. And then this one, again, this is the deft in the ADC by himself. I don't really like that much. But I keep coming to these. Here's a pure 4-3. But then I keep coming to these 4-2s with, oh, look at this one with UCal by himself and the captain. I can't do that, but DRX by himself and the captain. DRX by himself and the captain. I can't imagine any of those getting. But I am getting to a bunch of these 4-2s with the Dime One Kia in the team spot by himself, and that's I've seen that win a lot. Okay, so what you could do, I mean, what I like to do is have some fun. I'll upload both the saber score lineups and the projected score lineups to DraftKings, because DraftKings will not let you dupe your own lineups when you do that, and see how many I get total. But to be perfectly honest, I mean, the key is going to be hopefully getting info from Chan or from other qualitative sources to augment this. But that's the way I kind of look at these slates when I play them. It doesn't take me that long once you have like all the numbers in front of you. But it's pretty much it for tomorrow's slate. And that should do it.